Arthur Hayes is an American entrepreneur and founder of the Bitmex Crypto Exchange. A former investment banker, he's reported as being the youngest African-American billionaire in history. Nice. So, with an investment banking background, his own crypto exchange, and a net worth to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, clearly he's someone worth listening to. And in this video, we'll be covering three main things. Firstly, he says we need to understand the bet we are making when investing in crypto. Then he shares the one thing that has the power to make or break the crypto market. And then we'll finish up with some good old price predictions. When is Bitcoin going to get back to new all-time highs? When is the next cycle top going to be? And will there be another big, massive crash 4 years from now? Okay, so first up, we're going to start with how Arthur Hayes thinks about investing in crypto. And he says there's a bet we are all making.
I try to look at like longer term trends, and then my whole thing is just like take things to their logical conclusion and like try to empathize with the people who are making these decisions. Like all this baking stuff that's happening in the US and other markets. Like put yourselves in the shoes of a politician, right? You want to get reelected. What do you need to do to get reelected? Give out free shit, right? Free shit costs money. What do you do when you can't afford stuff? Print it, right? It's just standard. And if you study enough history, you see that nothing that's happening today with how the ruling empires of the world are debasing their currencies, it's all happened before. It's slightly different and the circumstances might, be a bit different, but this is the play that we've been running over and over and over and over again. And so if you read enough history, like, okay, I can see what they're doing. I see the motivations. I can see how this ends. And thankfully now we have something like Bitcoin in this whole ecosystem where we can actually take our money out of that system and say, okay, yes, this is risky, it's volatile, it's whatever, but I'm solving for this risk that happens in every single large, civilization over time. And maybe I'm going to be better off for taking this decision.
So the thing we need to understand is that there's a playbook that's been running ever since we've had a democratic system. Now, the problem with a president or a prime minister, like here in the UK, is that they only get a 4 or 5 year term, and 4 years is not enough time to work on the long-term problems of the country. The new president will just ask himself, shall I try to tackle this huge, ever-growing debt problem and be the bad guy for making cuts and raising taxes? Or shall I also just promise lots of free stuff to get elected, print loads of money to pay for it all, and then pass the ever-growing debt problem on to the next guy? And there's the problem. Welcome to modern day politics, which as you can see is fundamentally flawed. So the crypto bet is having something that can outpace the debasement of currency, which is something that's been going on for thousands of years. But unlike gold, it is a higher risk, higher reward bet. Next up, in order for crypto to keep having these amazing bull runs, Arthur Hayes says that there is one thing that is needed.
Hopefully over time, the amount of people who've heard about crypto increases. Because at the end of the day, we're an attention game. It doesn't matter what the price is, it needs to move. We need people to either just make a decision. We don't care if you don't like it or like it, but at least have the cognizant decision making. I don't like Bitcoin because of whatever. I like Bitcoin because of whatever. We don't want to be ignored. Being ignored is the worst form of anything. If you're thinking about that currency that needs to have a network to be valuable, if nobody's heard about it, you're worthless. So even if there's, all these bad things happening, if just people know what Bitcoin is, and then maybe something in their life happens and they change. Or maybe you're a Russian oligarch and you thought you were super wealthy, and then all of a sudden you got rugged because, some dude that you have no affiliation with launched a war, and you're like, oh, I understand now. I thought I owned that asset, but I'm just a renter. And I no longer have my boat, my fancy apartment, my house, my bank account. I get what these Bitcoin guys are talking about.
And so it's attention that is the name of the game. And he says attention normally comes when something big happens. He referenced a Russian oligarch that may have just been cut off from the financial system, but maybe you live in Argentina or Turkey, where your inflation rate is now close to 50 or 100%. Or for many, it might just be that you saw this crypto stuff explode 500% in the past, and you also want a slice of the pie. That too certainly gets attention. Okay, and to finish up, when is Bitcoin going to get back to new all-time highs? And remember, just to get back to the all-time high, Bitcoin would have to do close to a 200% gain. And this means that many of the top altcoins would be doing a 300, 400, maybe 500% gain. Hence why the crypto market would have to explode higher.
So I think this cycle is we got the halving next year, 2024. I think that's going to be a good year. I don't think we get up to 70,000 this year. I think next year is when, we cross that barrier, and then we get the blow off top 25, 26, and then it's Armageddon. It's more like, okay, do we have a major war? Do we have, when you print all this money and have all this social discontent around the world, you get things that happen. And it might not be the thing we all think is going to happen. This, World War I was started by the assassination of some like random minor royal, right? So like, and then that everybody's treaties triggered and boom, millions of, young men died around the world. So it doesn't necessarily have to be super straightforward. It's just, we have this situation. We have this tinderbox of too much money, no trust, and people trying to eke out a living for themselves.
Former investment banker Arthur Hayes is well entrenched into the crypto ecosystem. He says the playbook that's been going on for thousands of years is that politicians have to promise free stuff to get elected, then print loads of money to pay for it, and then just pass this ever-growing debt burden on to the next guy. He says that the one thing that is needed to keep these big crypto bull markets running is attention. And the worst thing that could happen is that if crypto suddenly started to get ignored. And be sure to subscribe for my next video, as I'll be showing some amazing things that have just happened, showing that crypto is certainly gaining attention. And finally, he thinks that Bitcoin won't be reclaiming its all-time high this year, but probably next year, along with the Bitcoin halving event, followed by another blow-off top around 2025, and then another epic crash. So there you are, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Now, I think patience and discipline is key right now, as the bottoming and building of the next cycle does take time, but it's going to be so worth it. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.